I finally did it, man. I got my hands on the Canik MC9 LS. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if come SHOT Show they come out with a comp version. This is the all-new Canik MC9 Prime, and I have been waiting for this for quite some time, so I am very excited to finally have this on the channel for you guys. As you know, I'm a big Canik fan, and I've been talking about this MC9 Prime for quite some time. Well, we finally did it. We finally got our hands on it. I did have to wait, just like everybody else. I didn't get this sent over for free, so this is going to be a 100% honest review on this gun. Now, the MC9 Prime is the answer to Sig Sauer's XMacro, to the Hellcat Pro Comp, to Smith & Wesson's Shield Plus Carry Comp, and this is just a great answer from Canik to do. Not only did they just hit it out of the ballpark with the Canik MC9 Prime, but it's also the first Canik made in the USA, so this is just a win all around. Now, they did a lot of upgrades to this, and we're going to talk about just the beauty of a gun that this is. So if we look at the grips, that's the thing that I noticed immediately right away. The first thing when I picked this up was the grips. The cool part about the grips is the fact that they thought about this being for a carry gun. Now, the side panels here are of a different texture than the front and the rear. The front and the rear are more aggressive, and the reason for that is because they left this a little bit smoother, even though it's not smooth, but it's a lot smoother, so that when you rub this against your body when you're carrying, it doesn't scratch you and it's not so abrasive against your skin. But the rear and the front panels of the grips are a lot more aggressive, because when you go to grab that gun, the palm and your fingers is what's really going to depend on that grip, and they made that aggressive so you can get a really good grip on the handgun without it burning your skin or messing up your skin, to all of us who have sensitive bellies. Now, another thing that they did was they put some texturing up here. Now, this is not new, because the MC9 LS also has some texturing, but the MC9 LS doesn't have as much texture as this, so they did make this area slightly bigger to give you more of a grip for your resting finger area. Obviously, as you guys can see, the trigger is upgraded. This is an aluminum flat face trigger like it has on the Rival. No, it is not as light as the Rival, so you don't have to worry about this thing being too light of a trigger to carry. This is also optics ready, as I think every other Canik is. The slide serrations are a lot more aggressive. They give me Canik Rival vibes, so it is really nice that they made these more aggressive. You still get the striker indicator. You still get your loaded chamber indicator up top. You have some window cuts. You have a front really bright trinium night sight up front, and in the rear you have some blacked out night sights as well. You also get, obviously, the most popular thing that this gun probably has been known for since it's been teased about, was the compensated barrel and slide. So let's take a look at that. Now, this is a little different than what we're used to seeing in terms of carry guns and their comps, because this is the first gun that comes comped in 3 different areas of the barrel and of the slide. We're used to seeing stuff like the XMacro and the Hellcat Pro Comp that have, you know, just 1 or 2 big slots in the slide, and then the barrel is matching. So this is different. We'll see how this functions at the range. I've seen mixed reviews already about, you know, how it functions, so we'll see. Like I said, this is going to be 100% honest review on my end. You get 2 17-round magazines. The magazines are stippled to match the texturing on the frame. You also get a nice magwell. This is removable, so again, super nice of Canik to think about just options in general, right? And then another thing for you left-handed shooters out there, this is ambidextrous, so you do have to switch the mag release, but the slide lock or slide release is on both sides, so that's a plus. This also comes with a 3-slot Picatinny rail just like the old MC9 LS. And just all in all, man, this is a 10 out of 10. Just the looks and all the upgrades they made to it. I'm so excited to finally have this on the channel and do some reviews for you guys. This, if it functions correctly and everything goes you know, good and smooth, definitely entering my rotation and might even replace the MC9 LS and MC9 that I have. But we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we're going to take a look at this into depth. Let's hit the range up, throw some shots down the lane, and see how this does. Now, the shooting experience with the Canik MC9 Prime was amazing, and I know that's not a surprise to any of you guys. Canik has elevated the game with the MC9 Prime because, as we know, Canik has always been a really accurate, good shooting pistol because they've always had such amazing triggers in these. But what they have done to maximize the accuracy and just shooters experience in general is going to be the ports. Now, I've seen mixed reviews on these ports where some people say they work, some people say they don't work, other people claim that it's just too loud of a gun. How does it compare with the original MC9, and how does it compare especially to the Canik MC9 LS? And I wanted to talk a little bit about both of these, mostly the LS, because we know that the MC9 had its issues, and we know that this was the very first launch and they stepped the game up with the LS. So I really want to talk about the LS versus the Prime. Now, before we get into those two, I wanted to show you guys real quick just how compatible the Prime is with these two. If you're able to mix and match the slides, the frames, the barrels, the magwell, all that good stuff, and the answer to everything is yes, you can mix and match it all. I'm going to show you guys what those look like. First up is going to be the Canik MC9. This is the original frame of the shorter MC9, and this does have the Canik Prime slide and barrel, as you guys can see here. And the nice thing about this setup is that you also get, aside from the slide and the barrel, you also get magazine capacity. So you get 12, 15, 17, 18, and plus that you can throw onto this setup here. It does lock back, and the trigger obviously does work. Next up, we got the Canik Prime frame, and we have the original Canik MC9 slide and barrel. As you guys can see, the frame on the Prime is longer than the slide and barrel from the MC9, the original one. So that is a minus. It still works though. It still works. I'll show you guys here. It'll still lock back, and trigger will still work just fine. Now, the nice thing though is that we could just await an aftermarket compensator for this. Ramjet. And next up, we have the MC9 Prime frame with the LS slide and barrel, and then on this side you have the Prime slide and barrel on the original MC9 LS frame. So if you don't want the ports or the comp on the Prime, but you want the whole frame and trigger and all that good stuff, you can definitely put the LS slide and barrel on here, and this does work. Locks back, as you guys can see, and trigger still functions just fine. Now, the craziest thing that I've seen on the builds here is this one right here, copying from Sig Sauer's XMacro, where the barrel is shorter and then the slide continues and you have the cuts on the end, but the barrel doesn't reach the end of the slide. That's what we just did with this one. Now, I put the original MC9 barrel in this, so the barrel cuts off just at the ports, and as you guys can see, it's got the shorter barrel. It cuts off before the slide, but you still got the ports and stuff. So similar setup as the Sig XMacro. And dang, man, I wish I could have tested this at the range. I don't think it would work though, because let me show you. So that seems to work just fine. I mean, trigger works and everything, but look at this. Look at the slide back here. It comes further out than the frame, so I don't think it would work, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So just wanted to give you guys that look. And real quick, I wanted to talk about the holster compatibility. Now, at first glance, this is the MC9 Prime in my LS holster. It is a light bearing holster, so I don't know if that affects anything, but at first glance it looks like it fits, right? But the reality is, if you look at this trigger guard here, it is open. It does not fit. And if you look inside of the holster, you have the muzzle that doesn't reach the end of the holster there, so something is holding it back. Now I'm going to show you guys the LS in here and show you the fitment on that, but just so you guys can see, obviously the light is in there. So here's the LS with the light, and as you guys can see, there is no gap here on the trigger guard, and the slide comes all the way out to fit flush with that holster. So I think that holster compatibility is going to be tough between these two. Now the reason I don't think that the holsters are going to be compatible, and again I hope, and I could be completely off or wrong, but if you look at this trigger guard, it looks like this actually comes out a little bit further than the one on the LS. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera or not, but the one on the LS, which is this one here, is just a little bit shorter, and they give you a little bit more room just in front of the trigger there. Also, another thing that could be affecting it, it could just be the rail, because like I said, this does go all the way out to the end of the barrel, and it does not do that on this one. All in all, I am extremely impressed with the Canik MC9 Prime. We fed it 115 grain, 124 grain hollow points, and it just ate everything right up. So reliability has been there up until now. Only time will tell, and we'll continue to test this out. We'll do a 1,000-round review once we get to that point. But otherwise, guys, this gun has been awesome. It has shot great. It's not too loud, as I've heard others say. The ports definitely do work, as you guys saw in the comparison video that we just did. But what other things would we like to see from Canik? Now, in my opinion, I would love to see Canik come up with something other than the 9mm. I would really like to see them include maybe like a 10 mil, a 45 cal, or a 40 cal in something. That would be awesome to see from Canik. I'd also love to see, because this is somewhat of a larger gun to compete with the XMacro and whatnot, I would love to see them redo the original smaller MC9 with all of these same features and reliability. That's something that I would love to see. That way we can have a shorter frame, giving us maybe a 10 round or 12 round starting point, and then going 15, 17, 18, and so on and so forth. Those are some of the things that I'd love to see from Canik, at least in their next generation builds. Let me know in the comments what you guys would love to see from Canik. Let me know what you guys think of the MC9 Prime. Are you planning on getting it? Do you have the LS, and how do you like that? Let me know, guys. I'm really interested to hear about you guys and what you guys have and what you guys want to see. But until the next video, you guys, God bless you. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys on the next one.